Katiyo.
Hi guys. Should I be saying Mangwanani, Masquerada say Makadini? We are the Katiyos. Well, it's just Mai Katiyo mostly. Today's video is going to be a cooking chit chat video. You guys said that you enjoy the cooking videos and you like them and you want to see more, so we're giving you guys more. So in today's video, I'm going to be cooking just a quick and easy one pot meal, which means everything goes into just one pan, one pot. Of course, there's going to be heaps of vegetables. I love veggies, so let's get into it. Today we're going to be cooking Thai green curry, and I'm going to be using the Master Foods stovetop base. So these are really good. I found they're quite fresh and I'll say organic. They're not really organic, but they're quite fresh. And you end up adding extra things onto it. So you add the cream or you add whatever's necessary, but they're not just hot with everything in it. So I find that they're quite authentic to the real thing. And also I will be using the coconut cream that you have to add on top of this. I'll be using chicken breast, free range chicken breast. A little bit more expensive than the normal, but it's always better to get free range when you can and when you can afford it. As well as the vegetables that we'll be using. So I will be using peppers, the two different kinds for the sake of color. Vision your eyes. Carrots, I'll be using carrots, green beans, broccoli, and cauliflower as well. As well as red onion, white onion, and garlic. You can also use minced garlic if you want. I sometimes use both, either or, it just depends exactly what I'm using it for. And then the rice of our choice today is black rice. I absolutely love black rice. I think it's so delicious. I actually love it more than, brown rice. But it's really hard to find and it's quite expensive. So today we'll be using black rice with our Thai green curry. So the first thing that we're going to do is prep for our veggies. So I have two chopping boards here, two different ones, one for meat and one for vegetables, simply because we don't want to cross-contaminate. So then you get your favorite knife of choice to make sure that you cut your meat. So I'm going to be cutting the meat, and the first thing I'm going to do is obviously wash the meat. And I'm also going to turn my pan, it's a deep pan, on low so that it can already start heating up. So by the time I cut my meat and start putting it in there, the pan's already a little bit hot. Alright, now that my meat has been washed, I'm gonna start chopping it up into some sort of horizontal pieces, some stir-fry pieces. You can just really do whatever you want to do with it. Also gotta make sure that after you clean your sink with some vinegar, because obviously we're washing raw chicken. So just cut it into some pieces. Also taking into consideration that once you cook them, they're going to shrink. And since the pan is already on, you just pop it in. Okay, so the pan wasn't on enough, but that's all right. Alright, so my meat is on the stove. I'm gonna put my rice on the stove as well so that all that is cooking, and then I'm gonna start chopping my vegetables and we can have a bit of a chat. So black rice is similar to brown rice where you've got to have double water. So I'll just get my knife that I washed and open the bag up. 2 cups of rice. And then I'm gonna wash the rice as well. So I'm just gonna let it sit for a little bit, wash it, let it soak in the water, and then I'll put the hot water in. So I've got my colander here. And I'm gonna start chopping some of the vegetables while the meat sort of boils, but not. The way that I like to do it is, regardless of whatever meat it is, unlike some people in this house, I will always season my meat. Regardless of what I'm using, I'll always season my meat. So my standard things that I love to use is garlic powder, all-purpose, and Vegeta, which is like a vegetable seasoning. And I'll put that in, and then as the meat boils down, the water will release, so it will cook with the flavor. So when you bite into the meat, it has flavor. There was once a time where somebody just boiled meat with water. It was an interesting meal. Still edible, but very interesting. So I'm using the colander and I put everything in here, then I'll go and wash it, and then I'll start to cook it properly. So I know some of us think that marriage life came very easy and it was like a walk in the park and you know, you just fit right in. But then that's not necessarily the case. I will be transparent and honest because I know there are some people that watch my channel that are already married, some people that watch that are young girls and you know, maybe they're in that stage of life where they're looking to get married or you know, things like that. So there was a point in our marriage, you know, where I felt like I was overwhelmed. Like I just felt like it was just too much for me. Yeah, so I felt like I wasn't being a good wife to my husband, and I felt like everything was just swallowing me, and I just felt like this is not for me, to be honest. And that was, you know, simply because I was trying to do everything and I was just trying to, you know, be like this super woman person. And it was like quite early on in our relationship, about 2 or so months in. Let me turn that down. It was about 2 or so months into our marriage, and I was sort of comparing myself to my own mother and, you know, my mother-in-law, and I was like, I don't think I'm doing a good job at this. I feel like I'm overwhelmed. My mum didn't seem like she was overwhelmed. She seemed like she was balancing everything quite well, and she wasn't struggling, and I felt like I was, you know, treading water. Like I wasn't swimming. I was very much every day like struggling to even stay afloat. And I broke down one day with my husband because it was a bit like what's wrong? You're not yourself. Like, you know, you're very rough. You know, one thing about me is when I get stressed and frustrated, I'm not nice. Not nice. So, you know, I was closing off and all this kind of stuff. And my husband sat me down and he was like, you know, what's wrong? And I was honest with him, and I, you know, broke down and I was like, I just don't feel like I'm being a good wife. I just don't feel like I'm being a good mother of the family. Like I went from, you know, dinner being cooked to me cooking sometimes to cooking every day. I went from being the one to have to go grocery shopping to groceries being bought for us, you know, doing the laundry, making sure everybody's fed, healthy, you know, things like that. And now that's me. I'm the mother of the home, and I came from being a child. So it was a transition that I wasn't sort of mentally prepared for. Like you're mentally prepared for it, but you don't realize that this is happening and this is what you need to do. So yeah, I spoke to my husband and he was just like, you're trying to do everything on your own, which was the truth. That I was like thinking I could do it all on my own and that you have to do it all on your own and this and that, and comparing myself to people who had been wives and mothers for like 30 years, and I had been a wife for like, what, 6 weeks or so? And that's when my husband sat me down and he was just like, you know, like, we're a team. You're not doing this on your own. We share everything. We share the load. We share the dishes. We share the cooking. We share this. We share that. We share that. It doesn't have to be this way. And that's when I realized that, oh, okay. Like, I'm not just the only one that does everything in this house, and I'm not, you know, yes, I'm the mother of the home, but my husband is also the father of the home, and he cares for this home. He cares for me just as much I care for him in this home. So that's when I sort of started allowing him to lead. Because I was trying to lead and be the mother and, you know, do everything pretty much. And that's when I was like, okay, you know, I need to calm down. I need to trust him because he's my husband. I married him. I need to trust him that he can lead me, can lead us, and, you know, we won't get lost or anything like that. And that's when I started allowing my husband to lead and take some of the burden away from me that I was trying to take upon myself. And I will admit that's when things started getting a lot easier and a lot better for me. And I think that's one of those things that's hard coming from, you know, being a child, being a dependent to now you're, you know, the one being depended on. So both me and my husband depend on each other as compared to me depending on my parents. So I think that's one of those things where you really have to sort of learn and decide within yourself that, okay, I'm gonna learn to trust and rely on this person, because it's different from when you're dating. Yes, you trust each other and this and that, but once you get into a home and you're now husband and wife and you're married and you rely on each other, bills have to be paid, dinner has to be on the table, you know, each person has to be happy and healthy. It's a whole different dynamic, and you really have to sort of allow each person to sit in their role so that the family moves and so that there's peace and there's that sort of oneness. And I think at the beginning of our relationship, we were very much trying to do me and Farai. We were not doing the Katiyos. So once we got to the Katiyos, and especially once we started putting God into our relationship, obviously we're both Christians, but I think there was a certain point after marriage where both me and my husband just like kind of fell off the wagon a little bit, where we were very much like, we weren't reading our Bible, we weren't really praying and stuff like that. Hold on. That brings us to this point where we're at now, where it's like, I think personally, me and Farai have been at our, how can I say it? Like our relationship this past week or so has hit a peak that it wasn't at before. And that's purely, I know for a fact, the fact that, you know, at first God led Farai into prayer and fasting, and I was like, you on your own. And then he led me into prayer and fasting and said, my guy, you are a family. Your husband doesn't pray alone. You have to pray and fast together. So God called me to pray and fast as well. And God has really been speaking to us and just revealing a lot of things to us. And it's strange because it's like we are taking time off certain things. We're taking time off, you know, social media, or Farai is. So he's not doing some of his favorite things. He's not watching soccer. We know how much he loves soccer. The other day there was some game or something and he's like, oh, I don't even care that it's happening. And we've taken time to just seek the Lord and be in the presence of God in this house. And, you know, we've decided that we're not going to be doing any of that stuff. We're not going to be intimate with each other. We're just taking the time of abstinence to seek God and to be with God. And it's funny because our relationship has blossomed so much. and our relationship has grown so much. And I think God was drawing us closer to Him so that we could draw nearer to each other, because the way that we laugh and giggle and whatnot in this house is very different from like 3 weeks ago, when we were just doing everything, whatever. But now that we've sort of gone and zoned in and said, okay, God, we want to hear what you have to say. We want to listen to you. We want your guidance. What's the way forward? God has been like, okay, great. Let me tell you what the way forward. At the same time, let me bring you guys closer together. It's been an interesting week for the both of us. I know it's been harder for Farai than me because I'm still, eating chocolates and all that kind of stuff. And I go on social media from time to time. But Farai is a little bit more than me because that's how God has called him. God didn't call me the same way. He didn't declare the same fast. But it's been amazing, to be honest. And it's one of those things where if you just put God in your marriage, in your relationship, you'll be surprised with what He will do. I would say that we've grown a lot in the past week. Our relationship has grown a lot. Our marriage has grown a lot. Our dynamic, even in the marriage, has grown because God has been speaking to us and talking to us. And some of those little things in your heart, in your secret places that God knows, but your husband doesn't know, or you don't know how to express it, or it's something that you're actually not aware of. God has been revealing to us, and we've been talking about it and all this kind of stuff. So it's been fun. It's been an experience. At the end of the day, fasting is not easy. Fasting is not a walk in the park. It never has been, but it's so rewarding. And I think anyone who married, not married, if you're planning to be married or whenever you get married, always remember to put God in your relationship, and always remember that if you draw closer to God together, God will draw you guys closer to each other. So our rice has been soaking for a while. All that's left is to trim off the ends of the green beans and then put them in there as well. First thing I'm going to do, the rice has been soaking. I'm going to throw away this and then rinse the rice. Add, since we put 2 cups, we put 4 cups of water, and then finish the green beans and chuck it all in there. That's 4 cups. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, typical for rice, I'm gonna add some salt and a little bit of oil, and I'm gonna turn it on high heat until the water evaporates. Then I'm gonna turn it on low to simmer. Then once the water is all gone, I'm gonna turn it on the lowest setting and put the lid on so that it can steam.
Ears were burning. I heard people were looking for me and talking about me.
No, you're the one that needs to do it.
Nanas!
Yeah, man.
You haven't finished. Huh? If it was me, I would have been finished.
We would not be finished
I would
by
have been
now.
finished by now.
Okay. Not everyday chips.
I'd have been finished.
Not everyday chips, but the people want to know how, so I've just been telling them about your fasting.
You tell people everything.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah.
No secret. Fasting has been good.
You're not talking to me.
Tell
them how it's been.
Fasting has been good. Fasting is a good thing. Yeah. What can I say? Fasting has been good. Fasting is a good thing. You quickly realize that you had more time than you thought you had in your day. And you quickly realize that some of these things we've become so addicted or accustomed to that we can actually live without.
Like what?
Like soccer.
Oh.
Like bora.
Wow.
Like
It's okay, it's not live.
Like some music we listen to, and some foods we like to eat, and even eating regularly. So, yeah.
And how's your spiritual life been?
It's been good. I've learned so much. You know, I think when we do our part, God always tends to meet us in the middle. And when we constantly create or set up dates with the Lord, He always shows up. He never stands us up.
Yeah.
So what am I
Go on.
required
We need to put the coconut milk.
Coconut milk.
Coconut milk in, vegetables in, let everything simmer, check on your rice, and we're done. Now purple rice, it's no longer black, so I'm just going to plate it up. And for mine, I'll put it on the side. And for my husband, I'll put it in the middle. Because we differ in the way that we like our soup. I like my soup not in the middle, not over my rice, and my husband likes his soup over his rice. So there you go. Just gonna flatten it a little bit. And then we're gonna grab our Thai green curry, mix it up a little bit. So for mine, well, over the side. Get some veggies. And then for my husband, over the top. So this is essentially made for a family of 4 to 5 people. So, and we're only 2. So there's heaps of leftovers. And we'll probably have the leftovers either tomorrow or the day after, just to break it up. But that's how we usually work. Leftovers will be eaten the next day or the day after. And that's the meal. We have black rice with Thai green curry. Quick and easy. Well, it's quick and easy when you're not filming. But quick and easy and simple and hearty and filling, and yeah, I think it'll be a family favorite if you would love to try it out. So that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed the chit chat. I hope you have enjoyed the topic. Comment down below if you have anything you'd like to say, or if you are a married woman, any encouragement for young ladies who are about to get married, in marriage, in their first year, anything along those lines, just so we can help and equip one another. So yeah, we're gonna eat dinner now. We've got some pineapple juice as our drink of choice today. So enjoy. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
And I don't understand why someone's going solo on our channel.
Oh, you've come to eat.
You're going solo on our channel.
I didn't go solo.
You're going Beyonce when this Destiny's Child. Some people. Huh?
Sorry.
I might need to send my CV to other channels.
Give us a taste then.
A taste. It's hot. Huh? I might need to... Have you prayed for this food?
No, pray for us. Sorry?
Praying by camera. Alright, Lord, we thank you for this food. We thank you for the hands that prepared this food. We ask that you bless those without. In Jesus' own and mighty name I pray. Amen. I think since you started fasting, you've become a better cook.